thought this was going to be a super easy week. Welcome to Bring Up the Bodies, the second in the Thomas Cromwell novels by Hilary Mantel. Jason over at Old Blues Chapter and Verse is hosting a read-along of Wolf Hall in January, Bring Up the Bodies in February, and with its release in March, The Mirror and the Light. So yes, I thought this week was going to be super easy because it was only like going to be basically it's part 3 of part 1, and it's just like it's just like 50 pages. And it's like, oh, it's going to be so easy. And I'd read the first 40 pages by like Sunday or something like that. And then the flu happened. So I finished those last 10 pages last night. This is Friday when I'm taping this. I did those last pages last night, and since I didn't go to work today, I haven't been to work all week. I am now actually upright and stuff, and I'm just kind of recuperating, and then I can get to work tomorrow. I can now, I guess, give you my very disjointed, still kind of hazy thoughts on this chapter of Wolf Hall, which I had to hold the book out a certain distance away from me because my eyes got screwed up apparently in the midst of the illness, and I'm having trouble focusing. So we'll keep this I guess rather brief and rambly rather than long and rambly. This section, you see Thomas Cromwell, feeling like he's in control now. You see him at his family, at his household, and they're making fun of the Pope, and they're reading the gospel, and it's just like More's dead, and we've taken over. We're in charge. I mean, Thomas Cromwell still knows he's got to be political and careful. He does not when he learns that Tyndall has been taken, and that he's got gospel people, other guys of the book were saying, like, can you get Henry to help save him? He's like, no, I can't do that. It was like, well, maybe you can get the Queen to do it, get Anne to do it. And it's like Anne needs her own help to do it. It's like he's not like super, but he feels a lot of kind of confidence, you could say. That kind of quickly does. I mean, he's so confident that at the very beginning he actually says no to Anne. He says no to her very baldly when she says, she wants to wants Cromwell to seduce, humiliate in public Lady Mary, Queen Mary, not Queen Mary, Princess Mary or Lady Mary, whichever part of the divide you on. Catherine's daughter. He wants because she's the daughter of Katherine, and she wants obviously Elizabeth to be the one who is the heir to the throne. And Cromwell says no, that's not my intent. Those aren't my methods. And just sort of slaps her down. And she's like, you better make peace with me before I give birth to the heir of the realm. And if it isn't this one, it'll be the next one. And it's like, and if they get rid of me, Anne is very convinced, well, then it's going to undo all your work. It's going to undo everything. The whole thing, all the changes we've had, Henry will just end up going back to the Pope, and everything will get undone. And Cromwell very coldly thinks to himself, I can pull you out of history. I can pull you out of the history. It's like, it's kind of, and I mean, he's not wrong. And, we'll see how that goes along. But so, yeah, Cromwell's feeling very, very kind of, he's all powerful. That of course gets counteracted when, this is the Duke of Norfolk or Suffolk. Always get him. Brandon comes belting in and saying, hey, the old queen's dead, so you can get rid of your concubine, and we can marry you to someone in France. And it's like, and he does all this in front of Chapui, the ambassador from the emperor. So it's like, yeah, you clear out too. And Cromwell's like hurls himself at the guy, but he's like, the guy's like, you do not talk to me. You're a common guy. You're not fit to talk to princes. And the king and Henry himself says so. It's like, this hasn't got nothing to do with you. Go back to your abacus. You're a moneylender. And he's like, kind of waves him off. And Cromwell's like, oh, he burns. You can tell he burns from it. But he's also like, yeah, it's the time of the moneylender has arrived, dude. And we'll see who comes out on top on all this stuff. we do have we do have the death of Katherine in these the news of the death of Katherine in this section, and we get this thing because Dupuy, the ambassador, does go up to see her, and he reports. At least this is his reporting of what Catherine's last words are, and basically the repetition back to Cromwell of what he had, the kind of the poison words that he had poured into her ear about it being her fault. If she had only given way to Henry, he would have never fallen away from the church. She's like, oh, I've ruined that. I've caused the death of Moore and Fisher. And, it's like, that. And after Dupuy tells him that, it's like Cromwell is silent. And it's like, that's the interiority. It's like, so what's he feeling right now? Because, like, you kind of think that's like, it's a punch to the gut. And at the very end, when there's the word on the street, and there's that word that, oh, well, the thoughts are that it's like you basically she was imprisoned and starved to death, or she was poisoned, or you Cromwell have hired murderers to like carve out her heart, and that when they inspected the heart, your name, Thomas Cromwell, was branded in big black letters on her heart. And Cromwell's like, my name? And it's like, well, maybe just your initials. It's like, but there is a sort of thing of like, it's in a kind of a weird, kind of twisted way. It's like Cromwell's last words were the kind of the final death knell for Katherine, in a kind of poetic sort of way. In another way, I think she just died of natural causes of living in the century that she did. But so yeah, we have all that. Cromwell the murderer again coming up. His name always blackened. The other touching parts we have here. This is the chapter. It's called Angels, and the peacock feathers that he used to make his daughter Anne's, I think it's Anne's, wings, angel wings, gets passed along to Rafe Sadler's stepdaughter, from his low-born wife Helen, gets passed on to her. And this is all in the midst of Gregory talking about his fears about, like, they say there's not going to be purgatory anymore. It's like, how are we going to pray for the dead? I want to pray for my mother. And it's like, and these feathers, and I would read it out to you, but of course my eyes are gone. At least they're gone for the moment. I think they'll come back. For the moment, of just like, the dead are just like a feather's breath away, which was in this section. So it's a small section. I'm probably not in any condition to hold forth on it in any great form. I probably just kind of recited what I've read. It's in some ways I'm processing it, I think, even in my semi-feverish state. So yeah, that's been this reading of this section of Bring Up the Bodies for this week. And we'll go on to the next section next week, and I will put the usual kind of links down below and in the thing to people who are a little probably more with it this week and what their thoughts were on this part of the book. More videos later.